Hello guys and welcome to another Tokyo Revengers video. And in this video, I will be talking about the newest episode of Tokyo Revengers. And this video will be an anime review for episode 26 of Tokyo Revengers, and this is the second episode of the second season. And this episode covers chapters 77, 78, 79, and chapter 80 of the Tokyo Revengers manga. And this episode is the second episode of the Black Dragons arc. In this video series, I will also be comparing the anime to the manga, and I will analyze these episodes to see if there were any scenes that were removed from the source material. There were many major character introductions that happened in this episode, and I will be talking about all of them in this video. And this episode had many great additions that were not in the manga, and I think that these filler scenes did a great job of expanding Yuzawa's relationship with Hinata. And these added scenes also did a great job of expanding Hakai's relationship with Takemichi, and I really enjoyed these added scenes. So far, this season has been a very faithful adaptation of the manga, and nothing has been cut out of the last episode. However, despite this episode made a couple major changes to the manga, and I thought that this censorship was very disappointing. Anyway guys, before I get into this video guys, please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more Tokyo Revengers videos. So let's get into the video now. So this episode begins with showing us the end of chapter 77, and we see that Hakai and Takemichi are bowling together. And then the anime added this scene where Yuzawa said that this is hilarious, and in the manga Yuzawa just said that their bowling was not bad. And in this moment we also see Takemichi's reaction to Hakai, and Takemichi thinks to himself that Hakai is very tall. And Hakai immediately recognized Takemichi, and Hakai exclaimed that he is Takemichi Hanagaki. And then Hakai started introducing himself to Takemichi, and he told him that he is the vice captain of the 2nd division. And we see that Yuzawa walked up to Hakai, and she told him that they should leave. And in the manga, Yuzawa was just sitting down in her seat for this scene, however in the anime, they made Yuzawa get up off her seat. And then Hakai responded by telling Yuzawa to shut up, and he also said that the bowling lane is calling to him. And Takemichi suddenly recognized Hakai from the future timeline, and this caused Takemichi to remember that Hakai is actually a member of the Black Dragons gang. And then Hakai smiled at Takemichi, and he told Takemichi that his captain has told him a lot about him. And in this moment Takemichi was just thinking to himself about how a Black Dragon member is also a member of Toman. Anyway guys, this is where chapter 77 ends, and chapter 78 starts off with showing us a flashback of Kazutora, and Kazutora was telling Takemichi about Hakai Shiba. And Kazutora told him that Hakai is the 11th leader of the Black Dragons gang. And Kazutora also said that Hakai killed the previous leader for money, and after killing the leader, he then took over the whole gang. And Takemichi responded to this by saying, so he murdered a guy for money. And then the chapter switches back to the bowling alley, and all these scenes that I will be talking about are anime original scenes, and this means that they weren't in the manga. And in these added scenes we see that Hakai and Takemichi are having a bowling competition, and they are also playing different games together. And we also get to see some scenes of Yuzawa and Hinata, and in these moments they are just sharing candy with each other, and we can see that they are getting along very well together. And I was really happy that the anime added this scene because I love seeing more of Yuzawa's relationship with Hinata, and this was a very amazing addition to the anime. And this scene does a great job of showing the audience Hinata's relationship with Yuzawa, and this relationship was something that I really have wanted to see more of in the manga. And I thought that adding these scenes of Takemichi and Hakai was a very good idea, and I say this because it does a great job of showing us the process of how Takemichi became friends with Hakai Shiba. And then the next scene shows us that they have left the bowling alley, and Hakai is hugging Takemichi. And Hakai told Takemichi that from this day onward, they will be brothers, and he also invited Takemichi to come over to his house. And in this moment Takemichi became very worried, because he realized that this person is Hakai Shiba, and he thought to himself that a murderer wants to be his friend. And then Yuzawa started speaking to Takemichi, and she said that if they are brothers, then this means that she is an older sister to both of them. And in this moment Hinata and Takemichi learned that Yuzawa and Hakai are siblings, and this was a very big surprise. And then Yuzawa told Takemichi that he doesn't look like he is a strong fighter, and then Yuzawa goes on to ask Takemichi how he became a captain of Toman. And Takemichi just responded to this by saying that she got him where it hurts. And then Yuzawa suddenly pointed her finger at Hakai, and she went on to say that Hakai obviously has the capacity to outrank Takemichi, however she says that Hakai has no interest in becoming a captain. And then Hinata said that Hakai is very impressive. And we see that Takemichi had a very funny reaction to this, and he just said Hinata's name. And after receiving this compliment we see that Hakai became completely frozen, and this made Takemichi wonder why Hakai is so silent. And then Yuzawa started patting Hakai on the back, and she told him that he is completely hopeless. And Hakai said that just thinking about being a captain gives him a headache, and he also said that he definitely prefers to be free. And then Hinata said that Hakai is a very cool person, and while she was saying this she had a smile on her face. However, after receiving this compliment from Hinata, we saw that Hakai became completely frozen, and he was also completely silent. And this made Hinata and Takemichi very surprised, and they were very confused by his strange behavior. And Yuzawa told Hinata not to feel bad about Hakai's behavior, and she explained that he is kind of a late bloomer. And then she goes on to say that whenever any other girl talks to Hakai, his body completely freezes up. And then Yuzawa smiled at Hinata, and she told Hinata not to worry about it. And Hakai's behavior made Takemichi think that Hakai is a total dork, and I thought that this was a very funny moment. And I think that this scene was done a lot better in the anime, and this animation really did a great job of bringing out the humor of Tokyo Revengers. And after witnessing this new side of Hakai's personality, this made Takemichi wonder if this is the same person who killed his own brother for money. And Takemichi thought to himself that Hakai doesn't seem like he is a bad person, and this made Takemichi wonder what could have happened that changed Hakai so much. And then Takemichi started talking to Hakai, and he asked him if he gets along well with Mitsuya. And Hakai responded to this by saying that he is stuck with Mitsuya, and he also said that they get along really well together. And Hakai also told Takemichi that they are the same age, so he doesn't have to be so polite. And then Yuzawa started telling Takemichi about Hakai's relationship with Mitsuya, and she said that Mitsuya is like an older brother to Hakai. And Hakai said that Mitsuya is a total pain in the ass, and he also said that Mitsuya taught him how cool, and how uncool that delinquents can be. And then Hakai said that Mitsuya can be very annoying, however he also said that Mitsuya is like an older brother to him. And in the next scene, Yuzawa said that Hakai's love for Mitsuya is over the top, and she also said that he likes him way too much. And then Yuzawa suddenly grabbed Hakai's cell phone, and she started showing the screensaver to Takemichi. And in this scene we learned that Hakai actually has Mitsuya as his screensaver, and this moment really shows us how much Hakai loves Mitsuya. And this sequence of events does a great job of building up Hakai's relationship with Mitsuya, and this relationship will be very important in the later stages of this season. And in the next scene we see that Yuzawa actually has a picture of Hakai as her screensaver, and I thought that this was a very funny moment because Yuzawa was angry that Hakai isn't using her as his screensaver. And I really loved this moment because it just shows us how much Yuzawa loves her little brother, and we will see that her love for Hakai will be a very consistent theme throughout this season. And then Takemichi thought to himself that Mitsuya and Hakai make a very good team, and while he is saying this we get to see this visual of Mitsuya and Hakai. And then Takemichi thought to himself that if he can just stop Hakai from changing, then he will be able to stop the Black Dragons from corrupting Toman in the future. And in the next scene, we see that Hakai told Takemichi that they are almost at his house. However, after turning the corner, their group suddenly saw that 20 gang members were blocking their path. And then Yuzawa told Hakai that they are in trouble, and Yuzawa also said that this means that their brother is coming back home, and we can tell that Yuzawa is very worried. And we see that Hakai started apologizing to Takemichi, and he told Takemichi that he should go home now. And then we see that the character Koko suddenly arrived on the scene, and he just said the words, well well well. And then Koko said, if it isn't our young master, Hakai Shiba. And we see that Hakai recognized this person as Koko, and Hakai was just glaring at Koko. And I really loved seeing that Takemichi was getting protective over Hinata, and this scene where he jumps in front of Hinata really shows us how much Takemichi cares about Hinata's safety. And after hearing that Takemichi is a member of Toman, we saw that Koko suddenly became extremely angry, and he said that he can't believe that a Toman member would come into their territory. And in this scene we see that all of the Black Dragon members started charging at Takemichi. And this caused Takemichi to wonder if he will get killed by these gang members. Anyway guys, this is where chapter 78 ends, and chapter 79 begins with Koko confronting Takemichi. And then Koko said, "So you are the famous 1st Division Captain, Takemichi Hanagaki." And then Koko announced to everyone that this whole area is the Black Dragon's territory. And Koko said that their boss instructed them to kill any other gangs that enter their territory. And then Koko said that this means that Takemichi is going to die, and while he was saying this Koko was sticking out his tongue at Takemichi. And during this moment we get to see the official introduction of Koko and Inupi, and we learn that they are both captains of this gang. And then Yuzawa told Hinata to get out of here, and Yuzawa also said that these people will not go easy on women. And we see that Hakai told the gang members to leave them alone, and Hakai also told them that Takemichi is his friend. And Koko just responded to this by saying that their gang will never take orders from Hakai. And then we see that Hakai confronted the gang members, and Hakai said that he told them not to hurt his friends. And the gang member just started taunting Hakai, and he told him that they will kill the girls too. And Hakai just responded to this by immediately punching this delinquent in the face, and in this epic moment Hakai used his fist to pin his opponent's face to the ground. And this moment did a great job of displaying Hakai's fighting capabilities, and this scene showed us that Hakai is a very powerful fighter. And after defeating the gang member, Hakai told the gang to get lost, and while he was saying this he had a very menacing facial expression. And then Hakai turned to Takemichi, and he apologized to Takemichi for getting him involved in this situation. And then Hakai suddenly revealed that the leader of the Black Dragons is Taiju Shiba. And then Yuzawa turned around to face Takemichi, and she just said, "Yeah, Taiju Shiba is our older brother." And in the next scene, Hakai told Takemichi that the three of them are siblings. And when he heard this information, Takemichi became very surprised, and then in the next scene we see that Hakai asked Koko about Taiju. And then Koko just responded by saying that Taiju is at the convenience store. And then Hakai just said that Taiju is a pain in the ass. And in the next scene we see that Inupi threatened Hakai by putting his knife right next to his neck. And Inupi told Hakai to watch his mouth, and he also said that he will kill Hakai if he talks shit about Taiju. And Hakai just responded by telling Inupi that he is losing his cool. And in the manga, we only got to see Takemichi's reaction, however in the anime they added a scene that also shows us Hinata's reaction. So far, this episode has been a very faithful adaptation of the manga, however in this next scene they completely changed Yuzawa's kick, and I was very disappointed by this change. And in this scene Yuzawa suddenly came out of nowhere, and she hit Inupi in the head with this attack. And the reason why I say that they changed this scene is because in the manga, Yuzawa sent Inupi flying to the ground with this attack, and Inupi was laying down on the floor. However in the anime, Inupi never even got knocked down to the floor, and this change was a very horrible idea, and I say this because it makes Yuzawa look like she is a lot weaker. And this moment was meant to show us that Yuzawa is a very powerful fighter, and I thought that her fighting style was very impressive. Anyway guys, in the next scene, Yuzawa told Inupi to keep his hands off of Hakai, and this moment is showing us that Yuzawa is very protective over her little brother. And in the next scene, Inupi declared that he will kill every last one of them, and he also said that he doesn't care if she is a girl. And in the next scene Yuzawa started apologizing to Takemichi, and she told him to get Hinata out of here. And in this part of the episode the anime also added a scene that was never in the manga, and in this scene we get to see Taiju Shiba, and Taiju is just walking down the street with his subordinates. And the anime also added a small animation of Taiju's neck. And I really liked this addition to the anime, and the reason why I say this is because we got to see a very cool scene that shows us Taiju's uniform. And I thought that this animation quality was very good, and I also think that the gang uniforms looked very beautiful. Anyway guys, out of nowhere Hinata suddenly started telling Takemichi to watch out, and in this moment we see that Taiju came out of nowhere, and he punched Takemichi in the neck. And in this moment the anime actually added a scene where Takemichi pushed Hinata out of the way at the last second, and this scene was never in the manga. And we see that this attack also knocked the wind out of Takemichi, and Takemichi was just trying to regain his breath. And when Taiju arrived on the scene, we saw that all of the Black Dragons members immediately started bowing down to Taiju. And this scene is actually a parallel to Mikey's first appearance in Tokyo Revengers, because when Mikey first arrived we saw that all of the Toman members started bowing to him, and we can tell that the author is trying to make a big impression with this character introduction. And then Taiju started screaming out, and he said that Takemichi just got wrecked. Anyway guys, this is where chapter 79 ends, and chapter 80 begins with showing us that Takemichi is still trying to recover from Taiju's attack. And the anime actually added a scene where Hinata is asking Takemichi if he is alright, and they also added a scene where Takemichi is telling Hinata to run away. And then Taiju said that they are having so much fun without him, and Taiju also said that this is not fair. And then in the next scene, we see that Taiju declared that they should let him join in on the fun. And then we suddenly see that Taiju picked up Takemichi, and Taiju is holding him in the air by his collar. And then Taiju just sent Takemichi flying with a punch from his left fist. And in this moment Hinata became very worried for Takemichi, however Yuzawa told Hinata to stay away from Taiju. And Takemichi thought to himself that this person is Hakai's brother, and in this moment Takemichi also thought to himself that this guy is the leader of the Black Dragons. And we see that Taiju started asking Koko who Takemichi is, and then Koko told Taiju that he is the first division captain of Toman. And after taking a look at Takemichi, Taiju just started bursting out laughing, and Taiju said that Koko made a very funny joke. However, Koko responded by saying that this is the truth, and he also told Taiju that he is friends with Hakai. And then Taiju started laughing in a boisterous fashion, and he just said, "No fucking way." And then Taiju decided to walk right up to Takemichi, and then he kicked Takemichi in the face. And Taiju got extremely mad about the fact that Hakai brought a Toman member into his home, and then he said that Hakai won't ever join his gang no matter how many times he tells him to. And then we see that Taiju just made a sighing noise. And in this scene, the anime added this scene where we get to see the reactions of Hakai and Yuzawa. And then Taiju started calling out to Hakai, and Taiju ordered Hakai to beat Takemichi to death. And then Taiju walked up to Hakai, and he asked Hakai if he could hear him. And then the anime added an extra scene where Taiju was ordering Hakai to kill Takemichi. And then this episode ends with showing us this scene of Hakai, and Hakai looks like he is very scared. Anyway guys, this is where the episode ends, and this is the end of this video. Anyway guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, and want to see more like it, then like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.